As the 2024-2025 season draws closer, it is time to share my ski gear for this upcoming year. This is probably the third year that I've made a video like this, and I basically outline just about everything from my ski socks to my base layers, mid layers, right on up to all the other hard goods like ski boots, skis, all that sort of good stuff, just to kind of show you guys what I'm going to be using this year. I am in no way affiliated with the Armada ski brand. I have a ton of Armada gear in this video, but I have never received product from them. I have never even spoke to anyone from the Armada ski company or anything like that. So all of this stuff that you see is purchased with my own money. The only company that I do have a partnership with is Zipline. They are the ones who provide my goggles, my poles, and even some of my ski bags. But everything else you see here is totally unaffiliated. I don't have a discount code. I don't have any sort of commission link that you guys can purchase from. So really all the gear here is stuff that I enjoy and use on my own. All right, to kick things off, we're gonna start with the not very sexy but extremely important ski socks. I probably have I don't know, about 6 or 7 pairs of ski socks now. I find that really the sweet spot is about 3 or 4, to rotate through as you, ski throughout the week. And to be honest, I don't really have any special thing to say about ski socks. I mean, I like to use these thinner ones because if your boots fit properly and stuff like that, I just think the thinner sock is cleaner, easier to use in the boot, and you shouldn't really need to have a thick sock if your boots fit you properly. But I do have a varying range of thin socks and some thicker ones. But yeah, get yourself a good pair of ski socks. Do not try to use just like high athletic socks or something like that. A good pair of ski socks you can get, like these are the Protect Our Winters one from Smartwool. For like $20, you could get 1 or 2 of these and be set for the whole year. So ski socks. Staying with the soft goods, let's jump into base layers. To start with, I really have 4 different types of base layer bottoms. These first 2 are made by Armada. Again, there's really nothing too special about them. They come down about 3/4, so they stop just in time for the ski sock to begin. I have 2 of these ones, and then I have a pair of Burton ones, which are more full length and they're a little bit made out of something different, but these still work well. And then I have this really light pair of head leggings, and the reason why I have these is on really cold days, because my suits are all shells, meaning they're not insulated. If it is really cold out or I'm starting the day really early, I actually will double up my pant legs, so I'll wear like this one and then one of these other ones underneath. It can be a little restrictive sometimes, but yeah, if it's really cold, I will utilize that other second pair there. And it's really the same story with my upper base layers. Again, just more Armada. I think these are the Contra is what they call Armada tops. Another one here, and then another one here. So I have 3 of those, and then again, I have the same head underlayer where if it is cold, I will put this directly under my skin. Then I will throw like one of these mid layers on top, then a base layer, then a mid layer, and then the jacket. So this just kind of provides that extra layer if it is very, very cold and I need to double layer up or whatever. But how to layer properly is kind of a video in its own right, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be that complicated. So nothing crazy, just a few pairs of base layers. Again, proper stuff that are meant to be out in the cold and things like that. While we're on the soft goods subject, let's go to face masks or gaiter. I have a few different gaiters that I feel like are all kind of functional in their own right. My favorite ones that I've used for a long time are these turtle fur ones. It's just kind of like this very simple tube type of deal, but it's very fuzzy on the inside, and it just does a good job of not freezing up with your breath and stuff like that. It's tight fitting, so I can put my goggles over it and not have any sort of wind sneak through. So I have 2 of those kind, one's gray and one's black, just depending on the outfit that I'm wearing. I have this other one that is also very nice. It's made by Blackstrap, I think, BS. And honestly, what I started doing last year was take 2 gaiters with me, especially on pow days, because when my gaiter freezes up, I start to get really cold. So I would throw a new gator in my backpack or something, and then just take 2 different gators, and when one gets bad, I would change them out during the day. It would make the world of a difference for the ski day. And then last, I have this one that I actually received from Snowbird this spring, Snowbird surf season. But it's very light, you know, it's more or less just meant for sun protection. Might wear this early in the season when it's 40 degrees and sunny, or later in the year. It's not as thick and sort of built for warmth. So a few different types of gaiters, but very important. I think the gaiter is one of the most important pieces of your ski kit, because when your face is cold and stuff like that, your neck, it really does a number on the rest of your body getting cold. Moving on to gloves. I don't really have a great glove setup, I'm not gonna lie. I have just a generic pair of glove liners that, yeah, these will come out when needed. And then I have probably my most used pair. These are a pair of zipline gloves. They actually don't make gloves anymore, but this is kind of my go-to winter glove for POW and stuff like that. And then I have a much smaller pair for spring skiing, early season stuff. But really, 95% of my ski days are going to be spent in this glove. I used to have Hestra gloves, but I actually lost one of them, which is like the worst. I would have rather lost both of them, but I just lost one. So I have one Hestra glove, and I don't know where the other one is, but I think at this point, it's probably in a parking lot somewhere. So that's kind of my glove setup. I will probably get some new gloves this year, but I just haven't really pulled the trigger on those yet. So those are the gloves. I also forgot to mention my base layer beanie, which has been a total game changer. This is part of that headset. My sister actually got this for me for Christmas, but I started putting this over my head with my gaiter, then my helmet, and it just made such a big difference on keeping me warm. This with the gaiter was a really good combo. So this is coming with me because this was actually a game changer. So that's really all my base layers. The base layers are that first initial sort of layer to skin contacts, but the next step from there is a mid layer. Like there's one more sort of thicker piece that goes in between the base layer and your actual outerwear. If you have insulated jackets and pants, you might not necessarily have a mid layer because that's kind of arguably built into insulated stuff. But again, all of these suits here are just shells, so there's no insulation on them. So what I do instead is I have 2 different mid layers, really just one primary one. This is a mid layer built by Armada, and it's warm. It's very warm, but it's not like what I want to use in February on a POW day. This is going to be something that I wear in the early season and in the late season, but not going to be like my go-to warmest piece of equipment. I don't know the name of this, but I will put it up on the screen so you can check it out if you would like. And then perhaps my most prized possession, and something that I really just wouldn't ski without anymore, is a down insulator. So this is the insulated layer that you would find in a jacket, but with this sort of setup, the insulator or the mid layer can really just do its job as insulating, and then you can focus on waterproofing, Gore-Tex and stuff like that with your shells. So this is a down insulator, also from Armada, but very comfortable, very, very warm. And yeah, with my base layers and this, I'm pretty much set no matter what conditions are. It has little thumb things, so it stays down, you know, very well thought out and designed. But yeah, a down insulator. So that kind of covers my mid layers. So now let's talk about the actual ski suits. I've got these black, green, and yellow ones new to me last year for the first time. So it's my first season transitioning to full shell top and bottom, full 3-layer Gore-Tex, and it honestly was a game changer. I had never used suits this nice before, and I can kind of see why this type of suit costs as much as it does and the technology behind it. But these are all the Hayden 3-layer Gore-Tex from Armada. I have the top here, then also the bibs in here as well. It's just obviously all hidden up, but I have the all black pair, this green pair, this yellow pair, and then I got another one this year. They came out with this color called Luma, which is like this, almost like a dull highlighter. Like think about like if a highlighter is running out of ink, that's kind of what that looks like. Deep POW days, like it does not matter. Super dry, super warm. The wind doesn't penetrate you at all, which is probably the best part about suits like this. Obviously the waterproofing is second to none. Still got the paper on the zippers here. So brand new. It's a little bit different in terms of the design. Like they started putting the logo, you can see that like down here, but for the most part it's really identical to the other series. So if you see me out in this highlighter, this color, that's me. So I want to do like a full review on these jackets and this whole suit because I don't think there's a lot of information out there, and I do think it's a viable option if you are really a skier and you're looking for a full-on weatherproofing suit. This is definitely a good option. I think that covers all of the soft goods, all of the kind of boring stuff, but really the most important thing. So if we want to move on to the hard goods, we can start with my helmet because that's kind of also boring, but this is the Pret, what is it? The Pret Epic? Pret Epic X. I have had this for a few seasons now. It's probably in my best interest just to get a new one for, you know, safety reasons. It does have some dents in it from the bar and everything like that. But yeah, this helmet's treated me really well. It's got the adjustment in the back. Pret is obviously a leading, designer for helmets, but nothing fancy. I don't ever not ski with a helmet. GoPro mount on the front for my head cam. Stoke Squad helmet stickers. These are available both in black and white, amongst other stickers. If you guys are interested, lucascatania.com/shop. So that is the helmet. And then what is going underneath there are the Zipline Podium XT goggles. These have been my go-to for a while. I wore this white frame all last year for the most part. I just thought the white was kind of badass and not as popular as an all black one. So this is the white Podium. And then I also have I ended up giving the black ones to my mom actually, and she kind of just took them. So I never had a black pair really from like the second half of the season. So Zipline sent me out with a brand new black frame just so I had it because I do like kind of mixing up the black and the white frame. So in these two cases here, I have probably 10 different lenses now. A complete blackout lens. So this is gonna be for summer skiing. Like you can't, if you go in the shade or the trees, you can't even see with these. So you gotta be careful with those. I have this pink, this rose lens, which is honestly good for mixed conditions, a little bit more favorable for the sun, I would say, but also provides good visibility in low light. This blue one is another one that's meant for sort of high vis conditions, good sun. This is probably the best lens. The visibility I had with this lens during complete whiteout conditions was phenomenal. So this is my go-to because I love skiing POW so much. I'm usually out in the storms, but you can see that this just snaps right in. Not like anything crazy, technology, but it's in and you're good. So the Skyburst was huge. This was a game changer for me this past year. And then I have a whole nother set of purple. Purple's kind of cool, a little bit more for those sunny days. Clear if you're doing night skiing, right? Or you might prefer a clear one for low vis days. A yellow lens for low vis, but it is mirrored, so kind of can go back and forth on that. And then I also have another, I think this is another blue lens. So I have a lot of lenses. I don't need this many lenses, but it's important to have the right lens. You know, you need a low vis lens, something that's yellow to help you skiing in those low vis conditions. And then you need something that's more mirrored, right? You don't burn out your corneas or whatever. Those are my goggle setup. Again, Zipline has been a partner of the channel for some time now, and they've just been really great to work with. So if you're interested in any Zipline gear, you can go to ziplineski.com and you can use the code Lucas to save you, I think it's maybe 10%, maybe 15%. So save some money, and then I also get a little kickback of the sale, which just helps support the channel and stuff like that at the end of the year. So while we're on the Zipline take, let's go through my poles. So I have a few different poles now. I have a lot of Zipline poles, but when it comes to what I use, really are the Zipline Blur adjustables. So this is an adjustable pole. You release this clamp, and now you have a longer pole, right? Again, not crazy technology, but it is what I've enjoyed using because there are certain instances, certain terrain where I want a shorter pole, right? If I'm skiing moguls or if I'm skiing something super steep, I would like a shorter pole. If you're kind of just cruising around, being a little bit more lazy, maybe I want a longer pole. If I'm putting a GoPro on the end of it to film myself, a longer pole will get a little bit, that much wider of a shot. So for me, the versatility of a adjustable pole has been really great, but it still is very lightweight and strong. Carbon graphite composite. So I have a pair of these yellow ones and I have a pair of black ones, and I feel like people got confused that I broke a pole last year and I was mix maxing sets, but that's not the case. I've had 2 sets. I just kind of, I was like, why don't I just use this together? So I started using one yellow and one black one. I also have some other poles here, but you know, this video is kind of meant to show what my recent stuff is. I haven't really used these. It's another pair of zipline poles, non-adjustable. This would be more if I was really skiing moguls directly. It's a lot shorter pole, it's even lighter, the swing weight's a little bit different. If I was really just going out to ski groomers and stuff, I could justify using these. And then this is the lollipop pole, big powder basket, non-adjustable, 38-inch pole, 96 centimeters. So, but yeah, for the most part, I'm just using those adjustable poles. Again, if you want to check out the poles, Chuck usually has really good deals on the poles, lots of different colors, so check them out at ziplineski.com. All right, before we jump into the skis, let's do boots, and then we'll do skis, and then I think we're kind of wrapped up. The boots. The Salomon S Pro 120. This is a 2-piece boot, 120 flex. I got this new last year. Went through quite the process to get this thing all dialed in, but I think now they are fitted well. I have custom insoles. They're obviously all molded to my foot. I went through a lot of work with Dude from Cole Sports on these, some videos on this from last year on the channel, and I end up really liking the boot. I mean, it can't, you know, is it the perfect boot? No, I still think I'm trying to find a boot that I just absolutely am head over heels in love with, but it's honestly kind of difficult to try boots, right? It's a lot easier to demo skis and stuff. It's a little bit harder to try a bunch of different boots, but these treated me well once I got them broken in. So I think I like the 2-piece rather than a 3-piece, a little bit nicer. I think I could go to a 130, to be honest. I think 120 is still a little bit soft, but I think for this year, I'm just gonna use these so I don't have to go through another break-in process. I do have the booster strap on them. I also put boot heaters on. These worked really well because the boot is a lot tighter fit. Yeah, my toes would get really cold. So little boot heater to keep the digits warm on those cold days standing around waiting for the lifts to open and whatnot. And that's kind of the boot setup. So Salomon S Pro 120s for the boots. All right, probably the moment that a lot of people have waited for are skis. Again, if you've been around the channel, you've seen the skis I have. There's really nothing crazy different. There's a few changes this year, but for the most part, the stable, the standard quiver idea is the same, right? So here's my Armada ARV 106s. These are, I don't know if they're not last year's model, or maybe they're 2 years old at this point, but these are they have the crow on them, commonly referred to as the Stoke Crow. So this is the ARV 106. In the 188 length, it's the longest you can get them, with the Tyrolia Attack 17 binding on them. This is, I want to kind of say my daily driver. Like, I don't know if it's really my daily driver, but if I'm not going and skiing the top of the mountain, I'll probably take these out. So I'll ski these all early in the year, late in the year. Just a fun ski. Is it a ski I want to use in big mountain stuff? Not really, to be honest. Is it a ski I want to use in powder? Absolutely not, but it's kind of just that fun ski that can do a little bit of everything pretty well. I mean, it's what I use when I need a skinny ski, a narrow ski. I bring these out, but they do need to get tuned up. I was thinking about replacing them this year, just haven't really gotten around to it. And these have gotten their money's worth on these for sure. Next up in the quiver, and these, I don't know how these are gonna fit into my quiver that much, to be honest. These are the JJs, probably my most used ski over the years. I haven't used it that much last year, but this is the Armada JJ ARV 116. So they don't really make this ski anymore. They replaced it with the ARV 112. So this is not last year's model. I think it's the year before, the Stoke Elk. What a great ski though. What a great ski this is. Again, with the Tyrolia Attack 17 binding. The reason why I say I don't really know how it's gonna fit is because I have other 116s and I honestly do like the White Walker better. At this point, I think it's just kind of the direction that Armada's going with that type of ski. So am I gonna get rid of these? No, but I don't know how much use they're gonna have. So I almost have too many options, which is the problem, but these are the Armada JJ 116s. Now let's move into another 116. This is the Armada White Walker. These were last year's model. These are 185 in length. Again, Tyrolia Attack. I think these are 14s. These are an old binding, but anyways, yeah, White Walker. This was kind of my most used ski last year. The 116 is incredibly fun. The reason why I like it is because it has a very stiff flex pattern underneath the foot, and then it kind of gets a little softer on the tip and tail. But for someone who likes charging down the mountain and stuff like that, having that stiffness underneath the foot I thought was a really cool sort of change in the pattern, but you still have these softer tips and tails for that buttery, slashy feel. And so just all around, you know, is a very, very fun ski. I mean, just look at how Sammy Carlson skis, the stuff that he does. That's why this ski exists. So I ended up using this ski really more than anything. I ended up getting new White Walkers. I'll put these here for now. That's what these are right here. So this is this year's White Walker 116. So it is really the same exact ski, short of, you know, a different top sheet, a different bottom sheet, right? But I did feel like the ones last year skied short for me because there's so much rocker in this ski. So I'm about 5'10", and so I ended up getting the 192. So this is a big ski. This is as big as they make it. And I kind of wanted to try something different, see if I could take my skiing to the next level with a bigger ski. So I don't exactly know how this is going to work if I just unmount these and just totally retire these and just use these, but I'm nervous. Like, what if I don't like the big ski, you know? So I don't know if I'm just gonna totally get rid of these, or if I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have two different White Walker 116s, but I'll figure it out. I wanna try them out, see how I like the bigger ski. But while the ski really is identical, the biggest difference for me is that this is the bigger version. So again, I'm 5'10", I wanted something, was a little bit beefier of a ski. So 116 underfoot, 192 in length, and yeah, just stoked to bring this guy out this year. Moving on up in our underfoot, we're going up to a 121 here. This is the Armada White Walker again, but this is the 121 version, so even fatter underfoot. Still the Karuba core, more rocker, you know, less camber, like just even more of a deep pow ski. This thing's an absolute animal. It's a lot softer. It's very fun. Wouldn't really recommend this for resort skiing. You really got to be in the right place, like the Cottonwoods, to utilize a ski like this. It's edgeless for about almost 2 feet. It feels like 18 inches. And so this is really just a ski that you want to use when it's deep, when it's soft. But this is the most fun ski I've ever used. Whenever I can use this ski, I bring this guy out because it's just that much fun. Because I like that ski so much, and because they hadn't come out with a new model for a few years, I ended up getting this year's model. Which way does it go? This way. But from my understanding, it's the same ski as what I have, but I just got the new one. So I'll probably just dismount those ones and put the bindings on here. I will say, because it is a soft ski, it's the Karuba core, and because there's no edge on a lot of the tip and tail, these are not the most durable ski. Like, they're very easy to ding up from day-to-day stuff, moving them in and out of your car, right? Moving around the lift line. Like, they're very soft, so it's easy. Like, they get dinged up very easily compared to your traditional ski that has an edge all the way through. So I will be utilizing these this year, the 121 White Walkers. So between this and the 116s, those are going to be probably my most used ski. And then lastly, the gag gift of skis is the Armada ARG Mark II 133 underfoot. These guys are they're ridiculous. Let's just say they're ridiculous. They're super heavy. They are reverse side cut, meaning they are more narrow at the top and tails, and they're most wide underneath the foot. So usually skis are wide, narrow, wide. These are the opposite. These are narrow, wide, narrow. Just a powder ski, literally. There is no camber underneath the foot. So I use these maybe twice a year. If you have deep snow, these are an absolute blast. Like, they're meant to just surf on snow, but they're heavy. They're very stiff. So from like a freestyle aspect, they're not like the most fun ski that I find personally. From like buttering and slashing, it's just not like, yeah, not super fun. But I don't know what I'm doing with these. It's just fun to have them. Sometimes you need to have an ARG day. So, I mean, just look at that rocker. That is nuts. And I think that concludes the hard goods of my skis. And so I think that really concludes like the bulk of the core of my ski gear. Like, I use, you know, GoPro backpack when I'm out skiing. I use, you know, I have a thing like, right, a boot heater plug in after the day so I can ski the next day without having wet boots, you know, little stuff like that. Started using walkie-talkies this year as well. So there's some more miscellaneous stuff, ski bags, just stuff like that, but that's it. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them below. If you have any recommendations, or if you want to just say what you're using this year, what skis you're using, what's your setup look like, you know? So anyways, I hope you guys are getting stoked for another year on snow. I know I am, but thank you guys for watching. I'll see all of you guys in the next episode. Take it easy, fam. Peace out.